every day I can get just one item. Surviving will be hard, building will be impossible, but yet my goal is to do better than both and beat the game. Is it possible? And more importantly, unlike every other challenge that measures itself in days, how few days can I do this in? Let's find out on a random seed. First though, ground rules. I can craft new items without it counting as picking up new ones, because one blaze powder plus one ender pearl doesn't create a new item, it just combines those two together. Also, I can pick up as many items as I like, I just have to throw them away immediately if I've already picked up my one item a day, which by the way, the first one will stick even if it's something I really don't want. So if I pick up seeds, for example, I will have to keep them. Oh no! Yeah, that really happened, and is one of just the many things that make this challenge so much harder than it seems. Anyway, day one, I was thinking this would be quite easy. All I need to do is get the most valuable item on every day possible, and so for day one, the best improvement I can make is a bucket, and these are technically obtainable in savannah villages, so my day one plan is really simple. Find one of those while resisting all the delicious beef I find on the way. There's no point in killing you, so I won't. Despite not having a savannah village anywhere that I could see, I did have a pretty decent seed, which actually had a village that I discovered near the end of the day, and I was even luckier because it was one with a blacksmith chest, and so I went in expecting a bucket, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if I can only take one item, I'm not sure this is a very worthwhile chest right now, but I'm glad it exists. Okay, it's a minor setback, but I can still get my hand on the valuable bucket if I can just find a savannah village, and so I'm going looking for a savannah biome by walking through the ocean. And I mean walk, by the way. Here's me doing it at 5 times speed, just to show you how slow it is. The reason I have to do this is my hunger is so valuable, because every single time it goes down, even if it's a tiny amount from sprinting, swimming, or a huge amount from taking damage, I'm going to have to waste some of my items, and therefore some of my days solely on food. This is something I'm desperate to avoid, and so yeah, this is what I had to do instead. If you're curious, by the end of the day I did not find a single savannah village, and so I had to make a tricky decision, and that was to get something I was probably going to need anyway, which was a hay bale, and go to sleep and hope that day 2 brought me a bucket. And despite looking around with a very high render distance, I quickly came to the conclusion that getting a whole bucket as an item was incredibly idealistic. If there's only one chest in the game that has them and I have no chance of getting that chest, instead I need to start thinking about how I can be making quick progress, and that is obviously to make a bucket the old-fashioned way, free iron ingots. Although even that is quite tricky, because mining free iron ore is going to require a pickaxe in its own right, which is also going to require some coal to smelt. That would take me a week to get a bucket, which isn't acceptable, and so instead the obvious solution is kill iron golems, try and find a village on each of the next few days, and then I could have a bucket by day 4, which would at least be doable. And so the plan is to kill a golem, but even after I dig out a hole from a distance and manage to push the iron golem in, I realize very quickly there is a flaw in this plan. I'm going to have to wait till the dirt despawns and then kill the golem. I sit and I wait. I think it was at this point I realized just how time intensive this challenge would be. It might have taken me my entire Minecraft day, but I did get an iron ingot, and now with day 3, I'm ready to explore and find any other structure which can possibly contain iron, in other words, one of these things. However, from this overlook, I find precisely none of that, and so instead, I'm trekking through this lake, through this forest, through this plains, and eventually find a ruined portal. Whoa, look at this generation. There's a river that goes in a perfect circle around an island, which then has a ruined portal, which means a ruined portal chest. I would hope that we can find some iron in there, but realistically, most of the time you find iron nuggets, and I'm not taking a single iron nugget. I'd rather have literally anything else. A golden apple, a golden hoe, preferably something better than both of those things, though. Oh, a golden hoe is indeed in here, but we also have golden carrots and golden leggings. So given my expectation of already being in the nether at this point, going for a golden carrot might seem insane, but looking at my hunger, I realized very quickly that I'm going to need to use a lot of it, especially to kill any iron golems, and so I might as well have the highest saturation food in the game if it's only gonna cost me 1 day, which sounds insane to say. It only costs 10 minutes for this golden carrot, but to me that was worth it because food is a very real problem, a very tricky one to solve. I'd love to know what's running through your head in terms of how you would do this, because I had a very good solution eventually to this problem. I think you'll enjoy it when you see it, but for now I ate the golden carrot and luckily found a village, kind of justifying the decision because this allowed me to go to sleep, and day 4 was going to be the best one yet. Another day, another item ready to be obtained. I do have 2 very easy— oh no! Oh, I hate my life. Why did I let this happen? Yeah, if wasting an entire day on a food item sucked, wasting an entire day on nothing sucks so much more, and even worse, I can't sleep in a bed like this guy is choosing to do today. Instead, I must sit and wait for the entire day to pass before I can make any progress in this world, and so that's precisely what I do. And it leads me nicely into day 5, where I could be ready to go into the Nether with a bucket already crafted, but instead I'm sitting here with this, just kind of working out what to do, and I eventually decide that Iron Golem Death is precisely that. Okay, this is very, very janky feeling, and he's not even looking at me right now, maybe because he's trapped by the creeper, but you can kill an Iron Golem without having to dig down or go up if he traps himself in a fence enclosure, which my guy has done. I didn't realize it when starting, but this series is actually the best advertisement for why Mojang needs to buff the fist again. It does 1 damage right now, and it used to do 2, and you can totally notice the difference. Why does this take so long? Also, something this is a good advertisement for is how bad average chests can actually be, because while looking around the village, just in case I could find something incredible, all that I found was a couple of single emeralds, and so the best loot that I found in 5 days of this challenge is just some gold leggings in a single ruined portal chest. I'm just glad that Minecraft is making me work for it. It really is making me appreciative of this bucket that I go to sleep dreaming of. If I can just find a village today, I'll be able to have it. And yes, 300 blocks away, there is another village, and it does have an Iron Golem, and so all I have to do is kill him now without any weapons and armor, and I've worked out his natural weakness. Golems do not like being in water, and so all you have to do is find that optimal range where you can hit him in the water, but he can't hit you. It's a like 0.1 block gap, and you have to be very, very careful with it. However, if you find it just right, as I have here, I can kill the golem, he can't kill me. And so here we have it, 3 iron ingots. So we could tomorrow just break ourselves a piece of wood, and that would give us a crafting table, which would be handy, but I've got an even better idea. And so let me share with you my master plan for doing this in as few days as possible. After the first week of this went so differently to my expectations, I thought it was important to start here and work out a plan that would use the fewest days, and so I'm going to be doing this by starting from first principles, which is not looking at the run and working out what I want, but instead let's look at what we need to beat Minecraft and work backwards from there. There is, we need IF Enders, for example. You cannot beat Minecraft without them on a random seed, and so we need at least 10 of those. That is 15 of our days already booked up by 10 ender pearls and 5 blaze rods. We're going to need at least some form of pickaxe, because even if you don't use a pickaxe to break down to the stronghold, it's not a requirement. You'll spend more than a day getting down there, and so it costs us a day either way. Let's just get a pickaxe for the benefits of that. I also think we're going to need, like, just to stay alive and not start starving to death, at least 5 pieces of food. That might be horrifically pessimistic, and yeah, we'll see how that goes, but we're going to need at least 5 pieces of food. We're going to probably do better with a single piece of gold armor, a single piece of food, and also a sword so that we can defend ourselves, and so that's 24 days from now. 31 days is the bare minimum, but that is then assuming that we don't need things along the way. But my plan is anything that's not on this list of 31 days, we shouldn't actually need to go through. It's quite simple, right? Think about it. If we need a crafting table, instead of spending a whole day on one, what if we found a fisherman's hut where they spawn in the world, which is exactly my plan to make this 7th day work. I'm going to only grab things from this list while finding anything else in the wild, which thankfully I did. Hey, just like that, the bucket is obtained. Which means I can now make water and lava and combine the 2 things together into a nether portal. Although, of course, going to the nether with this inventory is basically a death sentence, and so instead I'm going to try and find some of my other requirements in the overworld that might just help me in the nether, and so we go on a bit of a walk, and then I realize this. I was hoping to find a blacksmith or something, but all I found is what I believe to be a ruined portal over there, and then I looked behind me in case I was missing something, and there's another ruined portal over there. What a weird seed. I guess I'll have to go to both at some point. And so now I'm just curious what's inside the chest. Ah, golden apple. This chest does technically contain 2 of the items I'm looking for, and so tomorrow, if I was desperate, I could come back here and grab one, but I'm more on the lookout for a pickaxe right now, and indeed also a place to sleep, which is why I was grateful to find this. Have you ever seen a village this tiny? It's literally 2 houses and a golem, which is handy if we wanted to craft ourselves a sword. We could get 1 piece of iron today, another piece another day, then, I don't know, break leaves until we get sticks. But I think just a single iron sword isn't worth 3 days, especially when we could maybe find one naturally if we keep on waiting. So that is what I'm gonna do. On day 7, I'd really like you to appreciate that this challenge is the definition of a walking simulator. I literally walked 500 miles and I had to walk 500 more, and I didn't even get to be the one who fell down at the dragon's door because she wasn't excited to see me there. Because I would make 500 Let's Plays and I would. But I'll stop skipping ahead and show you what I did find today. An Efficiency 2 gold pickaxe, a Fortune 1 regular axe. Honestly, Efficiency 2 gold pickaxe is going to last me, I think, 33 mines on Bedrock. That is useful for getting out of something in a hurry, which I guess is the only time I really need to use it, hopefully. So I think I'm gonna take it. This is my emergency pickaxe. Yeah, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna mine to the stronghold, and I'm gonna mine maybe into a wall to hide from an enderman. This might actually do the job. It's not my preference whatsoever, but given that the day is almost over, it's either this or pick up another hay bale, and I think this has the potential to save my life. On the next day, I decided to look for a flint and steel because despite how fun a bucket is, you can use it to make a bridge over water if you really want to. The truth of the matter was it was always going to be hard to light a portal using just a lava bucket with no other blocks, and so I looked everywhere for a simpler solution, and I was pretty happy when I found this village. Oh yes! Heck yeah! Flint and steel, recipe unlocked. I have no idea what that could possibly be besides the recipe for this, but that is incredible, and I can also use it to save my life just now, which is even better. Let's go to the Nether tomorrow, I guess. Day 9 is going to be Nether Day, but it's worth having a look around the village to see what I find first. Oh, one piece of bread. Probably not going to do it for me. I did have a lot of fun climbing around this village, thank you for asking. I also got myself a hay bale, which meant that I could craft the previous one into free bread. Wow, free bread, such good value today. And then also made myself a nether portal, which we can now hop right into after a quick health and safety check, of course. It's a bit of a weird portal that I can kind of fall out of at a weird angle, but it should be just fine if I don't jump from here down to there, which is something I don't intend on doing. But again, actually, let's just make this safer. Now there's water down there. I can't die from the damage of it. What a handy little change that is. We'll also bring some lava with us in case we need to burn something while we're there. It's not often you have to burn stuff in the Nether, but just on the off chance, let's go and let's hope that we don't immediately die. This is an incredible Nether for what we're trying to do today because obviously those ender pearls aren't going to find themselves, and so having a biome where endermen will spawn abundantly is going to be absolutely wonderful, and so now I can use my free time, given that it takes probably a minute a day to kill an enderman, to look around specifically for a Nether fortress where I can find the other ingredient, and today's look apparently reveals this. A bastion! So yeah, we are going to have to make some raid on that bastion using what we've got right now. And so, yep, let's wait until tomorrow. By the way, this lava spill wasn't here when I left, but it is a big danger to my life because any piece of ground can catch fire and maybe cause me some problems. But that's a problem for future me. Day 10 is here, and I am confident in my ability to take down the bastion. I'm starting to question how easy this bastion will be, if even getting down there has led to quite a few near incidents. But there's no turning back now. We've basically committed to this as a strategy. Let's see if there's any easy to find chests that are just hanging out here anyway, right? Okay, it's been tricky to get down here, but I'm sure I can make myself an easy route on and off the bastion, right? Nope, there's nothing. The only way on I can find is over here. However, this is dire. Like, I am going to be immediately attacked by something I'm not seeing right now. But if I'm gonna come back in here, I'm gonna need some gold armor just to keep me at bay from stuff like that for the few seconds while I get to a chest. And to make things worse, I was going to have to break blocks to get out of this place, meaning that I was going to have to commit to having a block today, and rather than having it be a nevrack or a warped netherwart, I decided to break a warped piece of wood so I'd have 4 blocks to place whenever I needed them, which might really help later. But anyway, back to the overworld. I'm going to use day 11 as an opportunity to get the gold leggings, and then while I'm here anyway, use day 12 to get the golden apple, and now I'm ready to take on the bastion. This was one of the most terrifying things of my life, and when I finally jumped through all of these hoops to get there, do you know what I found? A half-damaged iron sword with sharpness 1, which I had to say was good enough for today, and so I went all the way back home, and day 14 was all about getting an ender pearl, something which worked out quite well. But I'll be honest, I wasn't satisfied with the structure and just a single piece of loot, and so do you know what I did? I went back the next day and raided it again, went for a much more risque set of chests that, looking back at the footage, I have no idea how I pulled this off, but do you know what I found in there? A second iron sword. This one had Unbreaking 3 on, and so now I have the sword's covered for the rest of the run. In an ideal world, I'd have an anvil to combine them together and we'd have something wonderful, but in the world we're actually living in, I have to call that something wonderful. At this point, I'm feeling really confident. I've got a sword, I've got a pickaxe, I've got emergency healing, I've got some armor, I've even got the start to my beating the game, and so the only thing that's really lacking at this point is food, which I have started to realize I'm going to need a lot of. Using 5 pieces of food might be possible if we never took any damage and never needed to heal and never had to do any form of sprinting, but that has not matched my reality in the Nether, and so at this point I need to be smart with this. I can't just keep adding days to the total as I slowly heal myself up. If you look at my current hunger level, I'd need to get 2 steaks or 3 golden carrots to fully max out my hunger, and that is a ridiculous challenge, and so instead I tried to work out what is the most efficient food per item crafted, and I started to think. I had 3 warp planks remaining, and I also remembered seeing a very weird purple biome in the ocean before. What if I could make these 2 things work together? And so that is exactly what I decided to do. I crafted my wood together into bowls, I decided to take a bed for the day's item, and then I walked over to the mushroom biome, and yes, I have worked out a way to get 4 bowls of soup from one single item. I punch 1 warp wood, I use a plank, and then I get 4 bowls, and then even better than that, anytime I want to, I could come here and refill, and let's just say that might be happening later in the run. And so now I've sorted my day-to-day food needs, I just have one last thing to solve, and that is basically the problem of having that food of last resort that can actually heal me, and so it's bad news for this cow. The bad news for this cow is the one item I've decided to pick up today is sadly going to be him. I know, it sucks. Terrible how these things happen. But yeah, I'll be picking up just a single one of the... oh god, there's a drown coming here. Just a single one of these cooked beefs as a emergency food in a last-minute ditch effort. But yeah, for now, let's run away from that drowned, let's eat a mushroom stew, and let's go to bed and welcome the dawn of the next day. At just under 4 hours into this world, I now can officially say that I am just about comfortable. I have some of the basics that you'd have on the first few days, and they're very weirdly formatted or tooled, but I do have them, and I'm feeling pretty darn good, which means I'm ready to start the big grind to get the usual gear you need to beat Minecraft. This is something that usually you have a lot of options for, but in my case, I can't really do any bartering. Even if I found a gold block in the bastion, as I did, trading 9 times of a piglin gives me the risk of having no ender pearls whatsoever, and that's before we talk about the risk of picking up the wrong item, or the mechanics behind what happens. We trade 1 gold ingot we've already mined in exchange for 2 to 4 ender pearls. Do we get to keep all of them? Before thinking about all of that, I just decided that ultimately the endermen are going to be the simpler option that also give me much more time to explore, and explore I do, and find myself a nether fortress that means after my day 18 ender pearl and my day 19 blaze rod and my day 20 blaze rod, I'm officially ready to go and find the stronghold. This is something I decide to do early just in case it's particularly tricky in some way, so I know what I'm getting myself into, but also importantly, it might just allow me to make a nether portal in the end portal room, one of my favorite survival tactics. However, in this case, all I discover is that it's down underneath this wall, and also that I have a gold pickaxe and probably am not going to make it just with this, and so instead I decide to settle a more pressing concern, which is food. Obviously, I can go back to the mushroom island anytime I want and get 4 bowls of soup, because the more bowls of soup I have and the more food I can consume, the stronger I'll be, right? Except no, what actually happens is on day 22, as I'm looking for an ender pearl, I pick up a piece of cobblestone without knowing it, ruining my entire day's chance to get one. Day 23 and 24 do go well, but 2 ender pearls every 3 days isn't acceptable, and so this small setback makes me realize just how important inventory organization should be. And by that, I realize I mean that when I have a messy inventory usually, and people say, Toycat, you need to fix that, what they're actually not realizing is the more messy your inventory is, the less likely you are to pick up something you don't want. And so I deliberately do this to my inventory, spreading it out as far as possible, and then I go on a bit of a grind, because on day 25, I find an ender pearl, on day 26, I find an ender pearl. Do you know what I find on day 27 and 28? That's right, an ender pearl and a blaze rod. We are inching closer and closer to the success here. However, day 29, I start to realize it's not just ender pearls and blaze rods I'm going to need. If I'm going to get into this stronghold, I need to mine a lot of blocks, and I can't rely on doing that with my fist physically in time of a day. If I'm not going to waste a day later, potentially many days, mining with my fist in the dark, I'm going to need to get a pickaxe, and so day 29, I go very tactically and kill a blaze as early as possible, getting a blaze rod for the day, and then I go looking for any way to get a decent pickaxe. I'm near exclusively on the hunt for a blacksmith chest, but I'm open to seeing what else I find. A Okay, this wasn't what I was expecting, but there is a chance that this chest has the solution to all of my problems. And so let's go. Oh, actually it does. Whoa, Silk Touch Unbreaking or Fortune Unbreaking? I think I'm going to go with Fortune just because of the fact that it has efficiency on there. And oh my god, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is very much what I am talking about. I just realized we can't pick it up today because of the fact that we already picked up a blaze rod, and so instead I have to sit here and wait a full 5 minutes. You know, I can get this on the way back. I'm gonna keep on walking just in case we find something else. Is it possible to find something better than a fully enchanted pickaxe? No. Honestly, given it's a mesa biome at this point too, not even. I think we say we found something amazing. A pickaxe with only 1 day worth of effort required? Yep. That sounds good to me. Honestly, there are a lot of days where I can effectively do nothing, but this is one of the best because at least I get to watch the sunset, which we're of course going to do fully now with no issues.
Have you seen it?
No! Whoa! How is that even possible that just happened? I cannot tell you how stressed I was about losing the entire run to something as dumb as a creeper because I'm busy looking at the sunset, but it did almost happen. Regardless, it didn't, and on day 30, I got the gold pickaxe, and at this point, there is a deadly race between me and the end of the run. I want to do this in fewer than 40 days, and at this point, it seems like it's entirely possible to do it in 35 if I can perfectly max out each of the next 5 days, which means making tactical decisions like on day 31, where as early as possible, I get my blaze rod in, so I've got my item for the day, and I can get some mining done and go look for the stronghold. I am very worried as I start mining and my gold pickaxe gets closer and closer to breaking, but just as the Eye of Ender foresaw, there is in fact a stronghold directly down here. I do spend a lot of time and I keep track of it, meaning that midway through the process, it turns into day 32 while I'm down here, and there is a race against time for me to get something done on this day, and thankfully nothing bad happens in the stronghold. He has no choice but to. There we go. Burning skeleton. Oh, this is terrible. There are lots of mobs in here. All the conflicts I've spent all game trying to avoid are now coming right at me. Oh, gosh. This is bad. This is really bad. This is really, really, really bad. This is really, 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 really bad. Okay, so we are just about going to survive that. Just about is the key word there. I have no idea how I'm going to make it through this. This is the most lost I've ever been in a stronghold. I desperately need to find the end portal room, not for the portal itself, but instead so I can light myself a nether portal and have easy access to this place. However, when I do eventually make a portal, that's a little different to what happens. So yeah, it's most likely going to take me back to the same portal, which means I can go in, get an ender pearl, and go straight to... Nope, it has not done that. Oh, it has done much worse than that. It's spawned me in a basalt delta. Oh, okay, yeah, perfect. Exactly what I wanted from a spawn. Despite the unexpected series of events, I was willing to get past this setback because all I needed to do was get an ender pearl before the end of the day, and fortunately I could see there was a warp forest across the way, and so all I had to do was get an ender pearl to teleport towards me, which was a lot easier said than done. Go for it, friend. Can he teleport that far? I don't know. I hope so, though. I don't think so. Yeah, he's not over here. I don't know where he went, but he's not here. Maybe he can teleport somewhere where he can then teleport to get here. Yes, he can. He can. He did it. Is he going to get down here, though? I think I saw the sparkles. Oh, yes, he can. Oh, yes. Okay, just don't teleport away before you're dead. No, I said one thing to do. I had one task. There we go. He's back. And he's dropped Nilium. Oh, okay. I heard something. He's here. He's here. I have no idea how he's not aggro to me right now, but we're gonna do a silly thing and charge right at him, attack him, get him to follow me into the hole. Let's go. No. Oh, okay. Okay. Very, very, very careful, dangerous there. If I'd have gone just another single mistake, it would have been bad. But it didn't matter anyway. He didn't have an ender pearl. Eventually, my luck seemed like it was about to turn around. Yes, he's coming closer. He's coming closer. Okay, can you make it down the gap? If he can make it down the gap, it's happening. It's happening. Come down. Teleport. Yes, he teleported. Perfect. Thank God he's on fire too, which is kind of dangerous, actually. No. No. Oh, it's too dangerous. How are they all dying before they make it here? This is the most insane thing ever. You know, usually... Oh, okay. Okay, run in. Run. We're in. We're safe. Is he going to follow? I don't like to admit it, but looking at the clock, I bet we now would go back to the overworld and have ended up skipping an entire day with no item whatsoever. I don't want to believe it, but I think we might have wasted an entire 20-minute day. Not even the normal 10-minute Minecraft day. I would love to be wrong, though, like I said. Just, oh, this is worse than being wrong. Yep, nope, it is daytime. There is a zombie pigman after me. It is bad. I need food, and I didn't even get any today. That is gonna be the worst day on record. Nothing got it. 0 items gathered for a whole Minecraft day? How do you even do that? The answer is I did it, and I feel bad about it. Also, we found a pink sheep. Very rare. And if one day without an item wasn't bad enough, getting an ender pearl or a blaze rod on the next day was also going to be a challenge because I had to trek all the way across the overworld and hope that I could get an ender pearl or blaze rod before night, something which was thankfully helped by finding this guy in the overworld. I greatly took advantage of that, and so now I was right on track if I could just make the next few days perfect. And to save you the suspense, day 34 and day 35 did both go wonderfully. I found an ender pearl on both of those days. However, amidst all the chaos, I did use effectively all of my food, meaning that now I had to struggle between getting the last blaze rod, but potentially also getting food and also having to kill the ender dragon, and I decided that I was going to try and do this the slightly riskier way, which meant on day 36, I need to kill a blaze without having any regeneration and having slightly less than half my health bar. Here is how that went, in case you're curious. Okay, yep, okay, there's two, I just have to make sure I get them both. That is a blaze rod. It's a second blaze rod too, which I'm obviously gonna try not to pick up. And just like that, the countdown has started. I needed to kill the ender dragon, and I needed to do so in a relatively short amount of time, and also had to do so while my hunger was slowly draining. My walk to the end portal was one of the worst because I was slowly using up my hunger, and I realized that my golden apple would be much more productive if I could use it early on into my health bar while it would still help me with saturation, which meant that I had to make a decision about halfway into the walk to eat the golden apple early and then desperately race into the end portal so that I would still have some absorption by the time I was there. Now all I had to do was take down the dragon. You might be saying, how is it even possible to think you can kill the dragon given that you don't have any projectiles, Toy Cat? Okay. And you might be saying, yeah, 4.5 hearts, no projectiles. Not really an ideal end fight, is it? The secret here is that the Bedrock dragon does not heal very fast from her crystals and also will perch even if they're not destroyed. This means that if you're willing to spend a lot more than 4 cycles, you can kill the dragon without taking down these towers. This was a key part of my strategy in doing this in 40 or fewer days, and as you can see, the dragon is coming in for her last swoop now. Right now, yes! I am about to finish the dragon. All I need is for her to swoop down one more time, and I can say that even though I've only got 2 hearts, 5 hunger shanks, and I've only gone through 37 items, I'll have beaten this challenge in 37 days, something I am very pleased about. Really, it's 35 items in 37 days. But while I'm thinking about all of that, the dragon comes in for a surprise melee attack, and Toy Cat was slain by Ender Dragon, something I was not expecting, but that means that this is not a deathless run, and I have failed. We need to start the entire challenge again. I'm just kidding. We're 99% of the way through. After another fateful death by Enderman, I work my way through the Ender Dragon's health, even having to do the final part of her damage with seeds, but with half a heart remaining, I do officially kill the Ender Dragon. That right there is me defeating the Ender Dragon using seeds. You know, if we just ignore those deaths, and we totally will, I defeated the Ender Dragon long before she defeated me, and so I can say I beat Minecraft using 1 block per day, okay, using just 1 block per day in under 40 days. I have never felt so proud of myself. This was the most ridiculous challenge that really made me appreciate just how many blocks and items we get on a given day and how it's expected that you just get so much inventory clutter. But when you reduce things down, there's only so many things that you need to beat Minecraft, even on the hardest difficulties, and that is something I'm proud to say I've done. Thank you so much for watching. This is such a ridiculous challenge that I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you want to see more ridiculous challenges and news and updates, you can do so by subscribing to the channel and telling YouTube what you'd like to see more of. Consider hitting the bell or whatever YouTubers say too. But more importantly than any of that, I hope that this video convinced you that you can do a lot more than you ever think so. You might think that some restrictions are going to really take you down, but ultimately you can do anything if you just believe in yourself. And that includes watching this video about why Minecraft needs an inventory update. Mojang, you can believe in yourself and you can do it, because if I had a full inventory for this challenge, then then you know that you can have a full inventory in a regular world. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Enjoy a bit of end poem, because I'll see you next time. Goodbye.